Peterson posted this on her official Christina J. public Instagram page. A picture of herself wearing a birthday tiara and listing her Cash App account. Quote, if anyone feels like sharing their quarantine wealth. When JQC investigators contacted the judge this year, the complaint says Peterson explained she thought that post was to her private personal page. And I was wondering on that day why I was getting Cash App from people I didn't know. The JQC said in her Instagram bio, Peterson.
Well, common sense would tell you why you're getting Cash Apps from people that you don't know, because you put it out there for people to send you Cash Apps. And the people that are on the Instagram page are people generally that you don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? No accountability. Now she's in jail right now for bopping a police officer. Who calls the police and then bops them?
Peterson called herself judge-elect.
If it was done in public, it's a cardinal violation, which is an intolerable activity for a judge to do. A judge cannot stand up and say, I'm a judge, send me money.
Even if she wasn't on the bench yet when she made that post?
Yes.
The complaint also says Peterson used her judge-elect status to encourage people to visit 2 restaurants. And on her Twitter page, she recorded a video offering relationship advice, calling someone a, quote, homeless sexual, and making reference to, quote, African-American male genitals. The JQC called it, quote, inappropriate sexual commentary. Judge Peterson did not reply to repeated requests for comment from the Fox 5i team.
I'm grateful that the people of Douglas County elected me to serve as their probate judge. That is a big thing.
Peterson already generated controversy before she took office, convincing commissioners to pay her more than her predecessor because he was not an attorney and she is. Peterson now collects $124,000 a year. Combine that with the money she's allowed to keep from fees paid for documents like marriage and birth certificates, and Peterson could make more than a state Supreme Court judge. Now those same justices will decide whether the JQC allegations are true, and if so, what kind of punishment Judge Peterson should face. Randy Travis, Fox 5 News.
The team now, tears flowed during testimony over whether an embattled Douglas County probate judge should be punished for her actions both on and off the bench.
Christina Peterson faces 30 counts of violating the Judicial Code of Conduct. Fox 5 team reporter Randy Travis has investigated complaints about Judge Peterson since she took office in 2020. And Randy, there were some dramatic moments during her disciplinary hearing.
There were, Courtney and Rush. Yeah, these hearings with the Judicial Qualifications Commission have taken 6 days so far, spread over 3 months. Judge Peterson originally faced 50 counts, but those have since been cut nearly in half. They still include what Peterson did to a woman who just wanted to get her biological father's name right on her marriage certificate.
I just don't have a memories of my dad. I don't know who he is.
These are the first public comments from P.J. Skelton, the Henry County woman thrown in jail by probate judge Christina Peterson in 2021. Skelton had written her uncle's name on the original 2016 marriage certificate, where it asked for her father, because her uncle is the one who raised her.
It's really sensitive to talk about him or how I grew up.
But she testified when her Thai mother applied for a green card, Skelton dug up her birth certificate and read her birth father's name. She filed paperwork to change her marriage license just in case it was an issue. Instead, Peterson told her to come to court, then ordered her jailed 48 hours and fined $500 for contempt.
Did you go to this hearing with any idea that you may be going to jail?
No.
She said Peterson never told her she might need an attorney in court, a fact that seemed particularly troubling for JQC hearing panel member Robert McBurney.
Did she say that you could go get one if you needed one? Or she just asked if one was with you?
She just thought if one was with me.
Of all the allegations of judicial misconduct facing Peterson, this is the only one that cost someone their freedom. The others involve her decision to...
I want to pause here because I do want to say something. Remember, they just said that she receives the funds from marriage certificates and things of that nature. So this right here that we're segueing into right now is her allowing a wedding party to come in to the court after hours, after being cautioned not to do it. These are the types of things that these folks are doing every day with impunity. And it just drives me bats. Here we go.
ignore the sheriff's office orders and conduct an after-hours wedding inside the courthouse without going through security checks, and a series of questionable social media posts, some promoting her part-time acting career.
Don't you want to take a break?
But when Peterson took the stand again last week, her biggest complaint was not being appreciated for making judicial history in Douglas County.
I'm the first African-American female and Democrat. Yes.
Any publications that you're aware of that ever acknowledged that fact?
I was never celebrated or congratulated. On my day of swearing in, I was sworn in by Judge Emerson. I received my first JQC complaint.
Another hearing officer, Richard Hyde, suggested some of the criticism against Peterson could involve the fact that, unlike her predecessor, she chose to keep all birth and death certificate fees in addition to her salary. She was asked how much in outside fees she's pocketed so far since she took office.
$400,000.
I don't know.
You're looking for the answer.
No, I'm just trying to understand. Like, I would have prepared that if I would have known that I was in my charge with some type.
I get to ask questions.
Okay. Thank you.
She never answered the question, but according to county payroll records we reviewed, Judge Peterson kept all $140,000 in fees each year for 2021 and 2022. Judges rarely do that in Georgia, but it is legal. That pushed her total compensation to $265,000 a year, one of the highest paid judges in all of Georgia.
One of the highest paid judges at the time in all of Georgia, and she didn't have enough sense to think to keep it ethical. That's what's heartbreaking. You get this far. I mean, I have to stop and say this because to me, you got people like Martin Luther King rolling over in his grave. You got people that died for folks to get the opportunity to even sit at the table, let alone be a judge. And this is the behavior that you have. And I said it. I said it. It was me. I said it. And I don't think that any of this stuff, like I said, it didn't feel good to me this morning when I opened this up to read this in the newspaper when I get it, because I get the AJC electronically. And it broke my heart. Putting the thumbnail together literally broke my heart because I truly and honestly hoped against hope that she would get it and straighten up. Now, we know that she lost a few months ago to the person that was, racing against her. But that still did not negate the fact that she did hold her bar license. Now, hitting a police officer upside the head, I doubt strongly that she'll keep that. But let's continue because it really does get a little deeper.
By comparison, Georgia's chief Supreme Court justice made $216,000 last year, so about $50,000 less than this probate court judge in Douglas County.
Yeah, the question is, this has been going on since she took office in 2020. How much longer is this going to go on?
It's going to go on longer. They have not scheduled yet closing arguments in this case. There are appeals to be heard or motions to be heard. And then the hearing panel has 30 days to come up with a recommendation for the Supreme Court, which will ultimately decide what to do about all this. So we're pushing up maybe into, qualifying next year for the Democratic primary.
So what you're seeing now is a clip of her now removed, because remember, I told you I got all of this stuff a while ago. These are all of the clips that I found at the time on her social media page, more specifically her Instagram page. And it was her showing, how she was just really doing her thing, how she was singing. And the girl can sing, all right? She's even got a scripture here saying that I can do it and do it all. And Proverbs is a passage that she put. And can I tell you, the chick can sing. And as a vocalist, I know singing. And even if I wasn't, like, some of you may not be, good vocalists, the girl can sing. The problem is I don't think she really understood who she was and who she is. But you see, that comes with time. Knowing who you are, even for those of us who are in here right now, you simply have to know who you are. Because when you walk into specific arenas, people are expecting you to be what your resume says. People are expecting you to be what your press says. They're expecting you to show up as who you say you are. So even though she had these talents and even though she had the ability to do these things, I believe that it was the admixture of her life keeping the entertainment side of her, keeping the, acting side, which you'll see here in a minute, keeping all the music side, keeping her in that flip type of personality, keeping her there prevented her from actually putting that robe on and actually doing her gig the right way. Because you cannot be all things to all people. You can't be all things and have a double mind. If you got a double mind and you are, hey, I'll use myself as an example because I don't want to keep, beating somebody up. And I hope that you all don't think I am, but I just cannot not say this. When I was in ministry, I traveled throughout the world and I sang. There are people who know me in different parts of Africa because they were in Europe at the time that I was singing in Europe. There are people in different parts of the United States that know me as that person. But you all don't know me as that person because that person was who I was and what I did then. And that's what this young lady failed to realize, was who she was here at this particular time. And she was still a judge elect on a lot of these pictures. And a lot of these pictures, she was actually a judge. And she didn't understand why the ethics committee had a problem with her sauntering around like this on social media. Here's what I feel about her social media. Having her social media is not a problem, folks. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is keep your social media private if you got all of this showing. Now, remember, I gleaned all of this while this was on her public page as a freaking judge. And I'm glad I never deleted any of it. I never deleted any of it. Because these are awesome things that she's doing, but this is private. And mixing that private life with your public life, asking people to send you money for your birthday as a judge is not cool. But if you don't know who you are subject to cut a fool any place you go. Now, she was also on a show on the Oprah Winfrey Network, which is what I want to tag a comment that was just made here in the chat. And I believe it was a comment by A. Howell right here. She says, these Black politicians are selected for a reason, and they think as long as they do what they are told by hidden hands, they would be protected. They are doing as they are told, just like the BLM movement. Kudos. Because nobody gets to hang with these kind of people. That she's all of these pictures that were on her social media page, Al, those are people that are famous. That's Fantasia, a vocalist. She was just sitting up there with different vocalists and different football players and basketball players, and she's just really living the life. TD Jakes, how you hobnobbing and rubbing shoulders with all of these people, and on the Oprah Winfrey Network, as you're gonna see in a few minutes, if you are not hanging with somebody. Question is, who did she piss off? That's the question. Who'd you piss off? She was even in a Tyler Perry. See this? This is her getting her hair done while she was getting ready for a performance. She was a part of an ensemble there in Marietta, Georgia. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes with a lot of these people that we're seeing right now. The unfortunate piece is because of this particular culture, they like to flow show everything and they don't understand how to keep it quiet. They don't understand how to keep this, on the low because they feel the stuff that they've been told they can believe. We got you, girl. Just going out there and do whatever it is that you want to do. You can live your life, live your best life. And there's nothing wrong with living your best life, but you're going to have to decide who you are. You're going to have to decide who you are. Maybe it says, look at Judge Fearless on Tyler Perry. You see that? Hanging out with Tyler Perry. This is her at the Marietta Theater Square. This is a production that she was in. Okay? But you're still a judge, dude. You are still a judge. Here she is on Oprah Winfrey's network. Ready to Love, a program that comes there. This was back a few years ago, but this is her, Christina J, 34, 5 foot. She literally kissed her career goodbye. Literally. She literally kissed her career goodbye. That's what she just did. I don't know who got in her head, who told her that she was Superwoman, but they didn't tell her where the kryptonite was coming from. Didn't nobody tell her there was such a thing as kryptonite, but she just thought, hey, I can do everything I want to do. See, there's a lot of these people that are out here, you guys. A lot of these people are plants. A lot of these people are plants. Remember a while back when we said, all of us together, that there was going to become a time where they were going to do away with everybody that Martin Luther King and all the other people marched and wore out their tennis shoes for, where they were going to push them to the side and say, see, we tried, but they don't know how to behave. No, the ones y'all put up didn't know how to behave. Not the ones that have people here in the chat who have nieces and nephews, or people that they know that are struggling going through school and really have some good ethics about them. Y'all done put those people in position. These are the worst diversity hire choosings that I have ever seen. These individuals are put in these positions on freaking purpose so that they can say, see, you had your time. Now, Mr. Patel or Miss Patel or Miss Gomez or Mr. Lopez or, Mr. Smith, these are the individuals that we're going to choose now. Why? Because all of them are chosen. And now to get you to shut up, they're going to let you see enough people show their behind so that you can sort of put your head down and say, well, I guess they got a point. Yeah, then we did have a few of them that were. Yeah, but these cats and these chicks are exactly that. They're exactly that. What is on the screen. They all are chosen. All of them. And so because they are, you got to understand that we're going to see the tide is going to change. And all of the opportunities that these people that they put in position and floss their pockets full of money, these individuals are going to see that they were used as pawns. They're really going to wake up one day and see it. It started years ago when we had people that were like in California, the black lady that just never seems to go away, one I call James Brown. They never go away. They never go away. But this right here is ad nauseum because they got more. They got the chick that had the fight with the eyelashes. Prior to even having the eyelash conversation, I sort of rejected her. I repelled her. Now here's another one. Are you guys ready? Here's another one. And I'm going to go on ahead. We're going to be closing out here in a minute. But this other person that I'm talking about, if y'all live in Missouri, you better be careful. Because, see, these folks that are planted have a way of speaking specifically to certain types of people. And then those certain types of people may be folks that haven't voted in a while, seem a little disenfranchised, don't like the way that things are going. And it doesn't matter what shade they are, because like 31 Flavors, the people who appoint these folks got somebody for everybody. Missouri, you need to be careful. August is coming and you guys are going to be held to task as to who you bring in as your Secretary of State. There's a person right now that if you do a little digging on girlfriend's life, my team did digging all night. We did digging. I did digging additional to what was brought to me this morning. And I'm telling you right now that if you guys elect this particular woman that looks like she is a patriot, you're going to have some problems. Missouri is one of the only places that have a very strong gun law. They went so far as to say if anybody comes in this state and they decide that they want to fight anybody here for our gun laws, that we're going to arrest you. So we don't care if you're the FBI. We don't care who you are. Missouri is that one state that said, nah, player, you're not playing with our gun laws. But now they got a woman up there that pretends like she is a patriot. But in essence, she's not. If anything, she's a socialist from Colombia. She is a communist from Colombia, allegedly. I could be wrong, but there's every indication that says this person is very dangerous. It broke my heart yesterday because what I saw was on a program that I watch from time to time. Ironically, after I saw his clip with her, I didn't even finish watching it. I just went directly to go find out, who is this woman? She said some triggering things. Now, let me just say this. When a person constantly says things about, you know, people and their lifestyle. And they constantly drive that home, constantly, like some pastors. And then later on, you find out that they're exactly what they was preaching against. You know that it's because that was a demon that they were fighting. But this lady constantly talks about that particular LGBTQ group, which I find it alarming, because to me, it's like a red sound, a sounding alarm. It's like an alarm, because that's pretty much what she talks about. But yesterday, during the Juneteenth situation, she began to tell Black Americans that if they don't like it here because of her idea of what Juneteenth was, that they could just get the F out. That's exactly what she said. That those particular individuals who are Black, and she threw BLM in there, and she threw everybody, just, you know, basically get out. All the Black folks, she said, if you don't like it here, you need to get out. Hold up, sis. You ain't from here. You from Colombia. Your last name really is Noriega. And we already know that Panama and Colombia were one nice little party until 1903, when it was broken apart and they moved on. And we already know that there was a situation with a whole bunch of weaponry and a whole bunch of other stuff. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. So when I see somebody popping up from another country who's only been here since 2009 and boasts that they are 25 years old with all these extremely clean accolades, and I can't find your mama and I can't find your daddy while I'm doing research on you, it tells me who you really are. It tells me who you really are. So what I decided yesterday was that if anybody following her agrees with her lifestyle, you can't hang out with me. Because the definition of a true patriot is being able to understand who's real and who ain't. And when you see them, you need to cock your head to the side a little bit, squint your sight, and say, something ain't right about this. Your spirit of discernment needs to be alert. I'm going to show you exactly who I'm referring to right now. I'm going to show you. And I'm going to use Philip's video that he did to help you see, because I was absolutely gobbled. I lost it. It literally, it didn't make me angry. It horrified me, because I was thinking to myself, don't people see who this is? Okay, let me get it right here. I don't own this, and I hope that he'll be okay with me showing it. But I got to show you, because I got to qualify what I'm saying. Let me show you what happened here. Let's go. This gentleman's name is Philip Scott. And I used to follow him years and years ago, and I really liked him, but then he got a little too Afrocentric for me, for my taste. And so I sort of pulled back a little bit. However, this cat makes a lot of good sense. And he brings up this young lady to show us exactly what he's talking about. And I'm glad that he did, because I would never have believed it had I not seen it with my own eyes. He's going to set it up for us.
Woman not only got the nerve to say what she's going to say, but listen to the music that she put in the background while she's talking to Black Americans.
Reparations from slavery and Black victimization is about to be shoved down our throats for the most wretched holiday in America. BLM raised millions, but what did they do for Black lives? It is outrageous to see people asking for reparations, even though they never went through slavery. These ungrateful people should be celebrated because they were born in the greatest nation to ever exist. Here's a tip. If you don't like America, get the f out.
I don't know who she is. I don't know what she thinks she's talking about. I don't know what she thinks she's talking about, and I don't know who she thinks she's talking to. But you just came here, sweetie. You just came here. The people that are already here, we are all together collectively just trying to figure out how to make it day by day. And we are white, we are Black, we are some Hispanics, we are some Asians, and we love our country. There are a lot of us who are friends, who are relatives, who are mixed up, but we love each other. And that BS that you just came over here touting tells me exactly who you are. It tells me exactly who you are. You're playing the song BBL Drizzy in the background that's talking about a bunch of, every time I look on her Twitter page, all she's doing is showing rap music, of course, until she's pandering to somebody else. There are clips of her standing there talking to Flynn, saying in one mouth, she's saying, oh, I'm so glad he's endorsed me. And then there's a friend of his that sends him a video and says, hey, man, do you endorse this chick? Oh, I know. I don't know her, Flynn says. I don't know her. I don't even know how to contact her. But then on the second time I turn around, I see him and her standing talking again. So I don't know what's really going on, or maybe I do and I'm just not saying it here. But there seems to be a concerted effort to take over this great nation and to take it over in such a way that it is steamrolling a lot of people. One thing that my friend girl said, and that is, she says, you know, the pendulum has swung so far over to the left that people are now going to just be, you know, hoping for anything that looks right, and they're going to take it. And that's exactly what's happening. So if you're going to get this shoved down your throat, this is going to be shoved down your throat. This is the expression. Shoving it down your throat. This is what they're trying to do. Do you believe or do you agree with what she just said? Or do you believe that in that very short, oh, she is, Troy. She is. Do you believe that in that very short clip, she just used a lot of talking points? At 25 years old, you ain't even got your shoulders into grooving yet, baby. You ain't even got your shoulders into it. You don't even know how to work that thing yet at 25. And you're trying to tell other people where to go? For all of us who are Southerners, for all of us who used to take what we grew and share it with each other. I told you guys a story of Mississippi at my husband's family, and they would have peas that they would grow. They would go down the way there, and there was another farmer, and it was a white guy, and he would share their eggs. So they would split up, and they would, you know, exchange peas. They'd barter peas for eggs and some corn for some eggs or whatever. They didn't have no problem with each other. None of us got no problem with each other. What we got a problem with is the BS that's going on above us that's trying to dictate who we are when we ain't none of that, when this place has never been any of that. But y'all coming in here trying to take over in areas that people have paid for you to come in. They have purchased AGs. They have purchased district attorneys. They have purchased secretaries of state. Now you running for Secretary of State of Missouri? Really? Based on what? Based on what? Your people got here in 2009 and you was a little girl. How your brother show his last name of Noriega on his stuff, but your name ain't nowhere showing Noriega. All it does is show Valentina Gomez. Yeah, but I can't find your mama and I can't find your daddy. Remember Elian Gonzalez? Was that the little boy's name? I think that was his name. I think that was his name. They had him over here. They were arguing over him, like splitting him up like a rag doll. They were trying to divide him like lots. And then they finally sent him on back to Cuba. And then the next thing you see, he was dressed up militant. This chick is that. Everywhere she goes, she's running and jogging. If you look on her Twitter page, she's running and jogging in Kevlar. She got on a Kevlar vest. So this is the other side to what I'm trying to tell you, that when you see these people in these positions, they were purchased with a price. Because this girl's background that we just saw is crystal clear, which shows me, baby, something ain't right. Shows me something ain't right. Ain't none of us got no problems other than the problems that you all are trying to create for us. We don't see the trash that y'all coming up with. But you get enough people to believe it, then you get enough people anxious enough to say, yeah, we need to change it. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're in Missouri, you better do your research. And if you know somebody from Missouri, you better tell them. And you better run tell that. because talking points are nothing but talking points to tickle your ear. And then later, when they're taking away the greatest gun rights that I have ever seen in the United States to date, then what you gonna do? See, they had to send somebody through there to try to get rid of those gun rights. And I'm not saying she's the only one. Could be another one that everybody end up running to, trying to get away from her and run right into it. What I'm saying is do your research. Do your research. You don't have to like what I say. You don't have to love it. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me. But please, if there's anything that I'm saying that makes some sense, please chew up the substance and throw away what you deem as trash. Take the sustenance and chew that and digest that and throw away whatever I'm saying that's garbage. What you feel is trash, throw that in the garbage. But take what I'm telling you that's real and apply that to your everyday ballot box. When you go to the ballot and you vote, when you go to that box and you look at that ballot and you begin to vote, if you still vote, you better use your head, because it is a weapon that'll be used against you in the future. We got a whole lot of folk coming over here. Trying to talk big and trying to talk how they want to do this and how we got to get these people out of here. Girl, who do you think you talking to? I was just sharing with one of my best friends last night. You know, when I listened to this kind of stuff, the first thing that came to my mind was how ignorant things were back in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, and how my uncle went into a store to purchase something in Mississippi. The man would not sell it to him. My uncle turned around to walk out of the store, and the shop owner shot him in the back, and they drug him out by his ankles. And my grandmother had to go pick up the remains and bury her child. I remember my mother telling me how painful that was. But this is the direction that we're headed back to if we allow people like that to reign in any position. That's not who we are. We've graduated from that. That's not who we are. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in today. Again, very sad situation with this young lady who don't know who she is. When you don't know who you are, you're subject to be and do anything. For Headlines with a Voice and the Lockhart Perspective, I'm Dr. Felicia Lockhart.
The Lockhart Perspective.